Welcome to Module 7, which is Chapter 8 of the Civil 3D Automated Quantities Training Manual. Chapter 8 covers quantity reports. The objective of this chapter is to teach the designer how to use the FDOT Takeoff Manager to run the various reports that are required to meet the department's established workflows. This chapter covers the detailed functionality of using the FDOT Takeoff Manager to generate the reports based off the pay item entities that were added in earlier chapters. For a detailed description of options on FTM, or FDOT Takeoff Manager, refer to Chapter 6 of this training manual. The location of the formatted spreadsheets that are in the state kit is also covered in this chapter. To get started, let's do exercise 8.1, which is run a linear report. This exercise, the designer will run a series of linear reports with FTM utilizing the Quantities, Reports, and Summary Tables tab. Launch the FDOT Civil 3D State Kit if not already open, and open the DSGN RD01.dwg located in the roadway folder of your project. Once open, click on the FDOT ribbon and select the Takeoff Manager icon. Use the pull-down to select the alignment State Route 61. With the default already selected, pick Compute Takeoff. A report viewer will open when the report is complete, and as you can see, there's no areas that will be reported, which gives you a blank area takeoff report. If you come down to the select report type, select the pull down and change it to linear. Let's take a look at what's being displayed. Over here we have the pay item, and every instance of this curb and gutter is under one pay item number, but is different segments. It gives you a total, a running total on the bottom that's related to that one particular pay item. Next, it gives you a description of the type of pay item it is, in this instance, curb and gutter, which is the description that is being read from the EMX database. The object name, whether it be a polyline, arc, line, the type of AutoCAD object that is in the file, the quantity amount, and the unit of measure. In this instance, it's linear feet. The baseline alignment that the report's based off of, a start and end station, and a minimum and max offset. Next, close the report by clicking on the X in the upper right corner and save your file. Next, we will do exercise 8.2, which is running a formatted linear report. In this portion of the exercise, the designer will run a linear curb and gutter report on the Summary Tables tab, which will launch Microsoft Excel and open the Excel spreadsheet filled in with the data. So continuing in the DSGN-RD file, and with Takeoff Manager still open, switch to the Summary Tables tab. For the alignment options, select the pull down and select SR61. And we want to make the following changes. We want to select Summary of Curb and Traffic Separators. And we also want to change the file output directory to the calculations folder of your project. So go ahead and browse to that. From here, scroll down, select Create Summary Tables. A notification alarm and button comes up telling you that it was created successfully. Go ahead and click OK. Now this is the summary of curb and gutter, and you saw the basic report viewer version of this quantity. This is the formatted spreadsheet that you would now link to your design file. It contains the pay item number, the pay item description, the location, which is station from and to, the side of the alignment, either right or left, the area ID, which you can use in EMX to browse to. It will highlight and go to that particular area if you want to examine a particular segment. Gives a unit in linear feet and a net length and a running total of the pay items. Go ahead and close Excel and save that file. We will be linking that file later, and it's always a good habit to close and exit out of Excel because you cannot link that file into your design drawing file with the spreadsheet open. Next, we will do exercise 8.3, running a guardrail report. In this exercise, the designer will run a summary of guardrail report from the Summary Tables tab and save the file to the Calculations folder in the project. Continuing in the DSGNRD file, using the steps from the previous exercise, create and save a summary of guardrail report. First off, those steps would be remaining on the Summary Tables tab, select the SR61 alignment, select Summary of Guardrail, and select the Calculations folder of your project and select Create Summary Tables. Now, since we are creating this and saving it to the Calculations folder, go ahead and save and exit this spreadsheet. Select OK to say the report was completed and save your file. Next, we will do exercise 8.4, which is running a linear report with modified station values and offsets. In this exercise, the designer will run a linear report along a station range with the offset or swath search distance shortened on one side. Continuing in the DSGNRD file, on FDOT Takeoff Manager, switch back to the Quantity Reports tab, select the SR61 alignment, and for Start Station, type in 700 plus 50, and for End Station, 704 plus 00. Now you can also select the Select button, which will open a jig attached to that alignment, so you could pick on the screen the approximate station value. For right offset distance, type in 20 and select Compute Takeoff to execute the report. Change the report type to linear. If we zoom out and look at the station range, since the right side offset was set at 20 feet, the guardrail was not picked up on that side of the report. Keep in mind that when working with shapes, unless the entire shape is within the search parameter, it will not show up in the report. Go ahead and click the X on the upper right corner to close the report viewer. Go ahead and hit the X to close the Takeoff Manager. Go ahead and save and close the DSGNRD file. Next, we'll be doing exercise 8.5, running shape reports. In this exercise, the designer will open the shape drawing file that was created earlier and run and save the appropriate reports that will be linked to the design file. So with the state kit still open, let's open up the QTD srd01.dwg file located in your roadway folder of your project. Go ahead and select the Model tab on the lower left. Since we are running the reports, it's okay for all the shapes to be merged together. You can switch to the individual shapes along the bottom if you need to examine a specific shape in the particular layouts that we created in an earlier chapter. Now, from the FDOT ribbon, click on Takeoff Manager. Since we want the formatted report, select the Summary Tables tab and select the Summary of Pavement report with the following options. Want to make sure we select the alignment SR61, and we want the report to be saved in the Calculations folder of our project. Go ahead and select Create Summary Tables. Here we have the report of the 3 pavement shapes that reside in that file. As a hint, did you know that the report would look the same if you initiated it from one of the shape sheet layouts instead of the model tab? This is because the shapes still reside in the file. They are just visually turned off in the layout. So go ahead and save and close the report and save your file. Next, we'll do exercise 8.6, which is running multiple reports at once. In this exercise, the designer will run the performance turf and sidewalk report simultaneously and save the reports to the calculations folder within the project. So continuing in the QTD file, with the Takeoff Manager still open, left click on Summary of Performance Turf. Holding your control button down, click on Summary of Sidewalk also. As you can see, both of them are highlighted, and Takeoff Manager retains the alignment and the location for the reports. It will remain in memory as long as we're in this current session. You open up a new session or open up a file, it resets. So at this point, select Create Summary Tables. Now we have the report up, and if we look along the bottom, we can see that we have two separate reports, two separate instances of Excel. So go ahead and close and save the files. Another tip to be aware of is when you run reports that the only columns that are visible are ones that have X data in the drawing file. So if you had a different type of sidewalk, different thickness, that column has been deleted, so you don't have to delete it before you link it into your file. So go ahead and close this file, save it, click OK, and now we're going to do exercise 8.7, which is running reports using the pay item filters. In this exercise, the designer will run a quick report on just the friction course pavement using the pay item filters, which will exclude all other visible objects. So continuing in the QTD file, switch to the Model tab. On FTM, switch to Quantity Reports tab. Click on the pay item filters, and since the pay item number we want to report on is 0337725, we want to expand the 300 to 341 category, and we want to find the exact number, which is right here, friction course 337725. Click the X to close the filters box, and we want to run this report on the State Route 61. And from here, go ahead and compute takeoff. So if we change the report type to count, we have only friction course reporting. So that's how you use the pay item filters. Now go ahead and close the report viewer. When you're done running a report with pay item filters, you need to open pay item filters back up and select clear selection. Without doing this, that pay item filter will remain selected, and that's the only one that will report. So if you are finding reports that are not reporting what you are expecting, perhaps open the pay item filters, select clear selection, and select the X to close it. Returns it back to its default state. The final exercise, 8.8 in this module, running a report with Xref and drainage networks. In this exercise, the designer will run a report on the drainage network that had X data appended to it using EMX. The designer will use the DSGNRD file to Xref in the drainage file for this scenario. So close the Takeoff Manager, close and save the QTD file, and we want to open the DSGNRD file located in your roadway folder. We want to Xref in the drainage proposed to run this report. So type in Xref on the command line. Xref Manager opens. Select Attach Drawing. Go to your data set inside your drainage folder. Select the DRPRRD01 file. Select Open. Untoggle Specify on Screen because we want it to come in at the correct coordinates, and select Overlay as the option. Go ahead and select OK. Now we have our drainage file. So now we can go back to Takeoff Manager, open it up. We want to run a quantity report. So select Alignment, State Route 61. And we want a few other items here that weren't selected before, which is include drainage items and include Xref files. So then you would select Compute Takeoff, and it would take a little bit longer since it has an Xref and reading drainage structures, and the report viewer will open up with the information that you've seen earlier in the report, in addition to the drainage structures, pipes, and steel or sod that we appended to the outlet structures in an earlier chapter. This concludes Module 7.